and gentlemen, welcome to another Rise of Kingdoms gameplay episode from your very own Shappy Gaming. Today we are going to be walking through the Kingdom Mail that just came out to everyone from Lilith. This mail talks about changes to immigration, changes to crystal tech, and just overall changes to the game. And so we're going to walk through that for you, read through all the different changes that are coming, what my take is, what that means for you, and hopefully by the end you should have a pretty good idea of what all of these changes that are coming are. So, first things first, these changes will be coming online in March. So we do have some time, and all of these changes will only be applying to kingdoms that have not yet entered KVK. So those kingdoms that are currently in KVK are not going to be affected by this until their next KVK. So, first things first. Difficulty levels for the new Season of Conquest event, Trial of Kawarak, will be unlocked as progress is made in Lost Kingdom. Governors can gain crystals, season coins, and other rewards by taking part in this event. This is great. The reason that this is great is that season coins were previously restricted to only your tech. And so any opportunity to get some more tech, get some more crystals is great. And I will point out that getting more crystals does seem to benefit everyone because the whales would be buying them, so they would be ahead anyways. But this does give your free-to-play or low spenders a little bit more of an option. The next one, discounted legendary commander sculptures and equipment material choice chests will be made available in the season shop. So this confused me a little bit because today you have your legendary commander sculptures and your equipment material chests, and I believe those are 10,000 coins and 15,000 coins respectively. If they're not, I'll flash up the proper one on the screen. But discounting them means that you're going to be able to buy up all of those legendary equipment and all of those legendary sculptures. And speaking personally, I have not been doing that in the last few KVKs simply because I just haven't been maxing my tech. The next one. Governors can spend crystals to receive speed up items in the new Season of Conquest event Give and Receive. So this is great. I think a lot of whales that will max their tech will end up having extra crystals and not really know what to do with them. In the past, they've turned into gold, which has been great, but the opportunity to buy speed ups is going to be really, really beneficial. My guess is this is going to be capped at a certain number of speed ups, similarly to how it works when you trade in your building speed ups for training speed ups. But we'll see how this goes and whether this really does make sense for a free-to-play or low spender to actually do. Because keep in mind, you want to use those crystals for your tech. And so if you don't have the tech, then you're going to be in a disadvantage in the battles. Next, complete challenges in the new Season of Conquest event Crystal Quest to increase the event level and gain crystals. So this seems pretty straightforward. It's probably not all that different from those events that will pop now within the past glory section of KVK, where you have, spent X number of speed ups or kill a bunch of barbs, or I believe there's also even a kill event one. So this looks like it's kind of just another one of those. Again, another way to get crystals, which is great. Rewards have been changed for Season of Conquest event Eve of the Crusade. Governors can gain crystals through this event. So this has me a little bit concerned. Eve of the Crusade is like KVK, pre-KVK, and so what are they going to be swapping out in favor of these crystals is really what I'm asking here. And how are they going to make it worth it for those that are pushing in pre-KVK? Because in the past you did get crystals if you placed, and you predominantly did that through training, but now it looks like they're making it so you could get crystals even if you're a normal person like me. So I don't know. Let's find out. Rewards have been changed. Oh, we got that. Buffs for crystal technologies have been fine-tuned. Please take note of the new effects once they have come online. This causes concern. And the reason for that is that crystal tech has been famously imbalanced. And when it first came out in KVK, I played one, it was rough. Only the whales max tech, and if you didn't have max tech, you were really, really at a disadvantage. When they say fine-tuned, that makes me concerned. Does that mean that they're going to increase the buffs that you get from Crystal Tech to make it so that the free-to-play are at a disadvantage once again, and thus all of these crystal changes are mute? Or are they making it so, the research costs are lower for the Crystal Tech, which means that almost anyone could attain max tech? That would be really exciting to me. We'll have to stay tuned and see what happens. I hope they're not buffing it too much, because if they are, that's really going to break KVK, but we'll have to stay and find out. This next one, I don't think is too big of a deal. To reduce the difficulty of killing level 41 to 45 barb patrols, allowing governors to gain crystal more easily. This is kind of whatever to me. To be honest, I would have been much more excited to see them increase the gem drop rate of these barb patrols, because, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen previous videos, the gem drop rate is very, very low, and it's really not worth it if you're hunting for gems to actually be killing these barb patrols. For honor, and if you're in KVK, naturally, you get more speed ups, but if you're looking for gems, these barbs are not great. And so that doesn't really affect most people. I think if you are a low spender or you're not T5 yet, this will be good for you. But then again, if you're a low spender and not T5 yet, you should be spending your speed ups on your normal tech, not your KVK tech. So I don't know. We'll see how that works out. Last and not least of the crystal tech. Remaining crystals will not be converted into gold and will instead be converted into season coins at a fixed proportion. This is huge. This is really, really big news. And the reason for that is that in past KVKs, if you had a bunch of crystal at the end, they turned into gold, which is nice. But what that meant is that you had to do a number of KVKs in order to get some of the rewards. Like if you wanted a new city theme, or if you wanted multiple equipment blueprints, or if you wanted a city theme and an equipment blueprint, you couldn't really do that. Now, if some of these crystals get converted into season coins, I wonder if it will be easier. And again, to be clear, in the past it's taken just about 2 KVKs if you've maxed tech both times in order to get a city theme. So are we going to see that change? And then at the same time, are they going to be adding more rewards to this season coin shop? I don't know. I think this is good. My biggest concern is that if Lilith turns around and they're like, oh yeah, we'll have it be like 1,000 to 1, right? And then you're really not getting very many coins. It's almost like those speed up reward chests. But we'll see. I'm interested to see how this will work out. My guess is it'll be probably something like 100 to 1, but time will tell. If anything, this should be more incentive to max your tech, because then even if you've maxed your tech, crystal's still valuable. And so that talks about crystal, and again, these changes will all be implemented in March. And it's, as it says here, only after a new Lost Kingdom starts. So likely our Lost Kingdom will have these. So if you haven't already, be sure to click that subscribe button on the bottom right-hand corner right here. And click that bell so you don't miss new episodes. We will likely be affected by all of these changes. So be sure to stay tuned as I talk through them. Okay, the next part of this video. Lilith has talked about this for a while. And migration has always been kind of a problem in this game. And they have decided that they're going to change things. So the first thing that we're going to be talking about here is they're dividing migration into 3 different types. So that's cross-season immigration, and that's when the current kingdom and destination kingdom are in different seasons, and when the current kingdom server age is older than the destination kingdom, governors may engage in cross-season immigration. What does this mean? So this means Shappy is in a season of Conquest Kingdom, and Joe is in a Light versus Dark Kingdom. They're about to start Light versus Dark. If I wanted to migrate from my season of Conquest Kingdom to their Light versus Dark Kingdom, that would be considered cross-season immigration, because they're in a different season of KVK than I am. Okay, next one. Same season immigration. When the current kingdom and the destination kingdom are in the same season, governors may engage in the same season immigration. Really simple. Shappy's in Season of Conquest, Joe is in Season of Conquest, I can migrate to Joe's kingdom, he can migrate to mine, no problem. Same region immigration. So this one's kind of new, and I'm curious to see what they do with this, because historically the regions haven't really been relevant, but let's find out. Regions are composed of 8 kingdoms. Governors may engage in same region immigration by moving between any of these kingdoms. So again, to provide context, KVK1 is a region-based KVK. So, let's say we're in 2120. That would mean we're going up from 2120 to 2128. That would be the same region. Most likely. You'd have to check the map. So, let's read about some of the changes. Cross-season immigration will be subject to a quota. Kingdoms in Season 2 and 3 of Lost Kingdom will be able to receive a maximum of 30 migrating characters per season. That's a big deal. Because what happens today is you would see a lot of players do a Crystal Tech KVK, whether it be Heroic Anthem or Strife of 8. And then, after that, they're low on speed ups, they're low on resources, they go back to a KVK 2. And that way you can work on some of the commanders that you haven't yet maxed, and just be a whale because you're older. This is going to make that very, very difficult, because now you can only receive a maximum of 30 migrating characters per season. So what that means is that you're not going to see full alliances migrating into KVK2 and KVK2 and KVK3 kingdoms anymore. You'll see a couple of groups, but it's not going to be the same. And it gets worse. Power limits for cross-season immigration will be determined by the king and confirmed 48 hours before immigration begins. So this can become problematic as well. We're talking about young kingdoms here having to prepare 48 hours before immigration begins to then decide that they want X power level to be within those 30 characters. And this can become problematic for a number of reasons. For one, if someone's coming in with their farm and they're coming in with their main, that counts as 2. And so that's a challenge, because maybe you get 15 people. But the other challenge here, and this is what I'm kind of curious about, is the power limits are typically set by the king as you bring someone in. You raise the cap, you lower the cap, and that's that. If I have to set it 48 hours before immigration begins, does that allow me to then move it? Because if I can't, then there is a risk of 40 or 50 I guess not, 30 whales all migrating in, and they're not the people that I actually intended to recruit. And so I hope that they don't make it so you can't lower the cap. But there's also the worry that your king forgets and they set it at a lower power level, and then you can't get the whales in before KVK. So I'm a little bit worried about this. I think the maximum of 30 migrating characters is going to cause problems. It's certainly going to make it much harder for those in Season of Conquest to try and migrate back, which may be a good thing, but at the same time, people should be able to play how they want, and this is really going to make it so they can't. And if you can't dodge Crystal Tech KVKs, Lilith has to give us a non-Crystal Tech KVK. It's just not fair otherwise. So, I don't know. We'll see. The next one. After immigration begins, governors who fulfill all the necessary criteria may engage in cross-season immigration until the destination's quota is met. So, that kind of goes along the same lines. I do worry here that there's not going to be a counter, so you may not know how many accounts are coming in. If there's no counter, then it's like, oh, I think we have 5 people left, and then suddenly you split up a group. So this whole thing is really going to be problematic, I think. Okay, on to same-season immigration. During Seasons 2 and 3 of Lost Kingdom, same-season immigration is possible, provided that the character registering for immigration is no more than 90 days older than the opening time of the destination kingdom. So, I'm not entirely sure what that means. It's possible provided that the character registering is no more than 90 days older than the opening time of the destination kingdom. So that is really, really confusing, because if I have migrated back You guys know my account is 1,000 days old. If I have migrated back to a Season 3 KVK, and then I decide I want to migrate back to another Season 3 or a Season 2, my character account is way older than 90 days. Am I not going to be able to? Let me know what you think in the comment section below, because that's how I'm reading this, which means that this could really hurt those that are stuck in these young kingdoms right now and really make them stick around. However, during Season of Conquest, there are no limits on character registration time for immigration. Great. Season of Conquest immigration is not changing. You could still go wherever you want. Clearly, they want everyone to spend more money on Crystal Tech KVK, which is why I think they've done this, but you can let me know. Next one, immigration start time. Same season immigration and cross-season immigration may begin once the destination kingdom enters the preparation phase for Lost Kingdom 2. Cross-season immigration ends once the destination kingdom enters the preparation phase for Lost Kingdom Season of Conquest. So this is not terribly surprising. However, it is really kind of vague here because typically you have not been able to migrate into a kingdom that is in KVK. However, it says it begins once they enter the prep season for Lost Kingdom Season 2. Well, in the past, you haven't been able to migrate in during prep. Once prep starts, migration closes. So is this changing? I don't think so. I think they've just worded this poorly, but we'll find out. We'll find out. And cross-season immigration ends once the destination kingdoms enters the preps phase for Lost Kingdom Season of Conquest. My hunch there is that it's no longer considered cross-season at that point. And remember, you can't migrate up right now. So I believe if you're in a KVK 2 or KVK 3, you can't migrate to a Season of Conquest. So this seems to be augmenting that. Immigration for Rising Kingdoms and Imperium Kingdoms has fixed power limits. So this could be really problematic for Rising Kingdoms because in the past, if you've been a young Imperium, you can grow fairly quickly. And I believe you've been subject to the same rules of 35 million power, which means you can bring a lot of people in that are fairly low power. Now it's kind of not like that. For Rising Kingdoms, the power limit is 10 million. That means my farm couldn't get in. That's going to be really challenging. You're going to see a lot of kingdoms not wanting to be those Rising Kingdoms or Junior Imperiums. And that's not great. And then it gets worse. So for Imperium Kingdoms, the power limit is 15 million. Also really low. My farms couldn't do it. For Lost Kingdom Season 2, 25 million for Season 3, and 35 million for Season of Conquest. So what are they doing here? They want you to migrate to Season of Conquest. And they're going to make it really hard for anyone else to migrate anywhere else. These are predominantly for Imperiums and for Rising Kingdoms. But, Imperiums do garner a lot of attention and people do want to migrate to them. So this should be interesting to see how it affects the game. My hunch is it shouldn't affect it too badly. It's just going to make it harder for folks to start in these younger kingdoms. Kingdoms can accept governors with power that meets or exceeds the current entrance limit required via special immigration. Special immigration will not count towards a king's cross-season immigration quota. So we've heard of this special immigration or immigration tickets thing before. I'm a little confused as to how this is going to work. I'm looking forward to seeing some more guidance and some more clarity on what this is. But I guess that's a good thing. If someone's coming in via special immigration, I can accept someone above my cap. That's nice. But what does this mean? Is Lilith encouraging Imperiums to bring in more whales? Because that's kind of the only time that this would be beneficial. So, a little confused, but we'll find out. We've added an immigration scheduling feature. This is great. I'm thrilled about this. I'll read through this for you. Governors can select a kingdom that's in the middle of Lost Kingdom event and will be notified when immigration to that kingdom becomes possible. No more guessing. I don't have to follow up if I want to migrate out. I can just watch that kingdom, flag it and get a notification when it's done. This is great. I would say this is kind of a quality of life change. I'm excited for this. It's definitely the least game breaking of all of these, but it is a positive, I think. It's a little less crazy. However, I do worry that this is going to cause problems with the 30 million cap, because if I want to watch someone who's in KVK2 and come in before their KVK3, I'm going to get a notification and migrate in. It doesn't seem like anyone's going to stop me. So I'm worried about that. I think they're going to make it really hard for you to get back into these young kingdoms. And last but not least, these changes will not affect the use of beginners teleport items, so they're not going to break your jumper accounts. Yay, good news. And last but not least, these changes will come online in mid-March, and as an incentive for governors considering immigration, they're telling you to do it now, we'll send a New World bundle to all governors who migrate before the changes take place. So they're going to make it so you can migrate now and then buy the new bundle, and that's nice, I suppose. I don't know. Seems like a small consolation considering you'd have to spend money and migrate, likely outside of KVK, which is probably not what you'd want to do. So, these are significant changes. I agree, Lilith, and I'm sure we'll be hearing more. I hope that you guys have enjoyed, and hopefully this has clarified some of the complex details of this update. If you haven't already, be sure to click that subscribe button right here. And click the bell so you don't miss when new videos come out. We will be posting a number of Rise of Kingdoms videos, and as I mentioned, we will likely be in the affected KVKs, so stay tuned for some of those crystal change updates from me. Thank you. Shappy out.